So thank you so much for joining us, Sister Blue Lotus. We are so thrilled to have you. Um, I just want to very quickly introduce myself and also Bardo Cafe. So we have been exploring the book in our book club from Thich Nhat Hanh, No Mud, No Lotus. And we have been really enjoying the reading of the book and exploring the different methods that he has been suggesting on how to work with suffering, how to work with difficult times, and using mindfulness in a way that just makes things easier and more accessible for people who, for all of us who have difficult times, and how to use those methods. And so we have been very fortunate to then be able to invite you, Sister Blue Lotus, who has been a student, or who is a student of Thich Nhat Hanh herself, and to hear how you have experienced Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings, and how to convey these teachings as well. And yeah, we're just really looking forward um, to your sharing of those methods and your experience, and the mindfulness meditation, and also the practice of beginning anew. So we're really looking forward to this session. And I would like to introduce Sister Blue Lotus just briefly in her um, how she came to meet Thich Nhat Hanh, and just a little bit about her life as well. So I will just introduce her. Sister Blue Lotus is a Vietnamese American born in central Vietnam and raised in Los Angeles. Her spiritual journey began early, and soon after she started college, both of her parents also chose the monastic path, which I think is quite special. And it has created a family deeply rooted in practice. After finishing her bachelor's degree at the University of California, Riverside, she traveled to India in a life-changing pilgrimage. At the age of 21 in 2006, she received ordination as a Buddhist nun. The following year, in 2007, she was blessed with the chance to meet the late Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh during his teaching tours in Vietnam and the United States. This meeting opened the door for her to join Plum Village, where she lived and practiced for 10 years at monasteries in France, Germany, Thailand, and the US, surrounded by the teachings and the support of the community. Since 2018, Sister Blue Lotus has spent much of her time in India, deepening her personal practice while also offering her energy to social projects through the Blue Lotus Trust and New Beginnings Foundation, both of which she co-founded with love and dedication. Beyond her monastic and humanitarian work, she finds joy in nature, traveling, discovering new horizons, and sharing the art of mindful living with those eager to learn. And just to quickly mention, the Blue Lotus Trust and the New Beginnings Foundation are still being built at this stage, but you're more than welcome to follow the Blue Lotus Trust on Facebook, and see all of the updates, and join the website when you have time. It's a beautiful project which is dedicated to empowering underprivileged individuals and communities through quality education, skills training, nutrition, and healthcare support. And it is based in Bodh Gaya. So it sounds like a really beautiful project. Well, thank you again. And I we'll hand over to you. We can all ask questions from your heart at the end of the session. So please write them down, keep them in your mind. So then at the end, we can all come together and ask questions if we have any. Thank you.
So thank you, Kirsten, for the introduction, and hello, everyone, from the Bardo Cafe. I think before we start, it would be nice to have a very short introduction from our friends who are on Zoom right now. Just a quick intro of your name, where you are right now in this moment, and one word to describe how you're feeling right now.
Right. Maybe we can start with Jigme Sogyal. She's here first on my panel.
Hello, I'm Jigme Sogyal. I'm in Miami, Florida right now. And one word right now is grateful.
And then Belle. I can see Belle there.
Hello, I'm Belle, and I'm from Melbourne, Australia. And I am feeling a little bit achy in my body, but open to be here.
And we have Kevin. I hope it's okay if I just go through everyone. Might be easier.
Hi, my name is Kevin. I am currently in Castlemaine, which is a regional town in Victoria. About to go meet up with some friends for lunch, and in a word, yeah, grateful would work for me too. That's for sure.
Thank you. And I can see Narayan there. Beautiful Narayan.
Hi, Narayan. I'm Gumbengi country in Australia and also open very much.
Thank you. And then I can see Simi. Where are you, Simi?
I'm currently in Princeton, New Jersey, and I'm feeling very relaxed and grateful to be able to join from all points of the globe here.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I can see Bhavna here. I think Bhavna is in India. Bhavna has been exploring the book with us all the way through as well. So yeah, it's great to have you. You may say a few words, Bhavna, if you like.
Hi, this is Hanh. I'm from That's it.
Was a little bit broken there, but thank you. Then Ricky.
Hello, Ricky McCarson. I'm in Greenwood, South Carolina, and right now I'm simply present. Thank you.
Thank you. And Anush.
Hello, I'm Anuj. I'm in Melbourne. Being at this moment, I'm trying to be hopeful, but yeah, I'm still under the weather, so yeah, getting better. Thank you.
Thank you. Louisa.
Hi, my name is Louisa. I'm in California, Cotati, California at the moment. And it's in the evening. I'm a little bit tired, but I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Thanks so much. We're happy to have you. And then we have Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi.
Hi.
uh, I'm in Los Angeles, California, and I don't know. That's my just traveled and returned. And anyway, lovely to see you all. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Still recovering. And then we have Penny.
Hi, yeah, I'm Penny. I'm brand new to Bardo Cafe. Only joined yesterday, so I'm really happy to be here with everybody. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for coming. That's great. Really great. I think we have spoken to everyone.
Okay. All right. So
Please.
let's start it. Okay. So, dear Bardo Cafe family, I'm right now currently in Los Angeles, visiting my family. And again, I'm very thankful for all of you to be with us tonight, giving me this opportunity to share. And I think it's nice to start with a song. Maybe for many of us, we're not familiar with singing, but we can take it as a way to relax, because when we sing in a way that it's mindful, it helps us to bring this collective energy of togetherness and cultivating the seed of joy in us, helping us to open up. And in our monasteries, many times the monks, nuns, lay friends, we sing together before a Dharma talk or before a session of walking meditation. So this helps to bring in that very nice, relaxing energy. So maybe if we can have Kirsten, you could put the Mindfulness song on the screen for everyone to follow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sing it first, line by line, and then together we can try to sing it together line by line, and see how it goes from there. Okay. So on this song sheet, we have 3 or 4 songs that I have prepared. Maybe we can start with the first one, breathing in, breathing out. And this is one of my favorite classic. It helps us to come back to the basic of life, which is our breath. And when we're mindful of the breath, we can be more engaged, in touch with what's in front of us. Basic thing as, the flower in front of us, the fresh dew, the mountain, the earth, all these beautiful elements that are always available for us. So please allow yourself to just be. If you feel comfortable, you can sing. If not, just listen to my singing first, and then you follow as you go along, okay? Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free. So that's just a quick intro to the song. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Now maybe we can try it line by line together. So I'll sing the first line and then you repeat after me. Can we try that? Okay. Let's try it word for word. Breathing in, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. So this first three verses reminds us that every time we take a deep in-breath, out-breath mindfully, we can become in touch with the freshness of a flower, the freshness of the morning dew. And anytime we feel unstable with our emotion, whatever feelings, maybe we're having a difficult time, it's very helpful for us to come back to that nature of solidity of the mountain. So that's where we have, I am solid as a mountain. So when we feel that solidity of the mountain, we become unshakable. No words can damage us. No circumstances can take us down, because as any mountain, it will stay tall no matter what. So again, these verses are actually mindful verses to help us to come back to the present moment and again, get in touch with these different qualities that are also available in us. So let's try again. I don't know, how does everyone feel about this? Is it okay?
I think
I
it's
love it.
right.
Okay. Let me know if this is not working, because this is my first time guiding singing meditation on Zoom. So it's kind of hard for me to have a feel of how everybody's receiving it, because I don't have the eye contact as I would normally do. So please feel free to let me know, okay? Again, let's try again. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free. So with the second verse, breathing in, breathing out, I am water. This is an invitation for us to come back and get in touch with the water elements in us, especially when we are being overcome by a strong emotion like anger, hatred, resentment, whatever strong emotion we have. It's important that we come back to that water element to remember when we look into a pond or a stream that is completely calm. And if we look right through it, we can see everything clearly. So that is the moment of mindfulness where your mind is um, clear of any clouded thoughts that may give us wrong judgments of things, wrong perception. So when we're able to come back and look deeply, just like the water element being still and calm, that's the moment our mind also becomes clear and calm, just like the water, just like the lake or the pond. Okay? And the third verse, I feel there is space deep inside of me. This is also a moment of transformation. When we are bottled up inside with so many things, whether it's stress, whether it's pressure from work or family, or a grief that our heart closes and we're not able to see things beyond. This is also a moment for us to touch that space in us, allow everything to be open so that we are no longer feeling that we're alone. And that space allow us to really open up to our own vulnerability, to whatever emotion we have, but being able to look to it and recognize it as it is. And the moment we can recognize these things that are bottling up in us, especially in our mind that's being tangled, then that moment we become free, free of attachment, free of anger, free of whatever it is that is preventing us from being happy, from being peace. So that's why this song, to me, as simple as it is, it always helps me to, again, come back to that state of calm, peace, freshness with all the different elements of nature. So this is just a very, your cup of tea tonight as an introduction to a mindfulness song that is often sung in the Plum Village tradition. So do we have any question before I move on to the next practice?
Just thank you. That was very lovely. Thank you.
Okay. So since there's no other question, I like to move on with a short guided meditation. But before we do that, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine that's very dear to me. This friend is dear in the sense that she accompanies me every day in my practice, whether it's the morning or evening, and it really helps me to stay awake. So this is my friend. Maybe you were thinking it was a real friend, but no, this is a very small bell that is often used in our practice, not only in the monastery, but you can also use it in your homes or in your office. So I always have a mini bell with me. And this acts as a friend because it helps me to come back to the present moment. And we always hear the word, oh, it's a bell of mindfulness. Why? Because when we hear something that helps us to stay grounded, to come back to the moment, to see what it is for what's in front of us, that is the bell of mindfulness. And so that's why I consider this bell as a true gem and a true friend. So before inviting the bell, I like to invite all of you. I noticed there's a friend who is sitting in the car. Some of you are in your home. Some of you are maybe still at work or just came back from traveling. So whatever space you are in right now, I'd like to invite you to just find yourself a very comfortable position. Feel your body being relaxed in that position. If you're on the floor like myself, you can sit on a cushion with your legs crossed fully, or in a way that your two knees can touch the floor. But if you're on a chair in an office or even in the car, just adjust your position in a way that your back is straight, but your body is resting relaxingly. And before we begin the guided meditation, it will be nice for us to keep our eyes gently closed, so that we can take a few minutes to pause, come back, and check in with our body and our mind. And 3 sounds of the bell will be invited because it helps us. When this bell is invited, it's an invitation for us to come back in this very moment, following our breathing, get in touch with our body, because sometimes, even if we feel like we're already at home, but we're still carrying our work responsibility or planning for the next day, or if we even had just come back from traveling, have we really settled down? Do we really feel at home yet? Or are we still thinking about the journey that we had just taken on? So the sound of the bell is very helpful for us to really come back to the present moment right now and to see where you are and take deep in breath and out breath to help you relax your body, to calm the mind, and to recognize whatever it is that you're feeling in this moment. Okay? Breathing in, I am aware of my sitting. Breathing out, I become aware of my whole body. In, aware of my sitting. Out, aware of my body. As I breathe in, I become aware of my breath, whether the breath is deep or shallow, whether it's light or heavy, just becoming aware of the breath coming in. Breathing out, I become aware of my out breath. In, aware of the breath, whether it's deep or shallow, whether it's long or short. I just recognize the breath as it is without forcing it in any way. Breathing out, I become aware of my out breath. Breathing in, I become aware of the thoughts that come to mind in the moment. Whatever thoughts they may be, I just recognize them as they are. Breathing out, I smile to those thoughts. In, aware of my thoughts. Out, smiling to those thoughts. Breathing in, I dwell in the present moment, bringing my body and mind into the here and now. Breathing out, I feel at home. In, present moments. Out, feeling at home. Breathing in, I feel grateful to be alive in this very moment. Breathing out, I smile to life, In, grateful to be alive. Out, smiling to life. Well, dear friends, our session of short guided meditation has come to an end. You may slowly open your eyes, offer yourself a smile, and if you like, you can rub your two palms together. Feel the warmthness, the energy that has been cultivated in your body, and offer that energy of gratitude, the energy of love, not to anyone, but to yourself. It's very important to recognize that and to embrace yourself right now. And slowly, you can massage gently your eyes, fill it with love, saying thank you to your eyes, allowing you to see the beautiful sunshine, seeing your loved ones, seeing the beautiful things in life. Slowly, you can also massage your cheeks, the back of your neck. As you massage them again, we continue to send that energy of love to all the different parts of your body. If you're feeling tired, anxious, whatever you're feeling in your body right now, it's very important that we send that energy of love, embrace. Sometimes we take our body for granted. We don't take the time to really look after it. So just a small, gentle gesture of massaging after a very short meditation is already very nourishing. Yeah. Thank you to my ears for allowing me to hear the sound of the birds chirping, or the sound of my neighbor's dog barking, or even the sound of things that I don't like to hear, but at least I can still hear. So this gentle practice of gratitude to our ears is also very essential. Yeah. Now, slowly we can massage again our hands. Look at how beautiful our hands are, or how the wrinkles are coming through, but it doesn't mean anything. Aging is also beautiful, right? So no matter what age, no matter where we are in life right now, when we look at our skin, we just recognize this is part of life. Aging is only a process, and it doesn't mean we're getting older. It just means we're getting wiser. So send that loving energy to your hands and also down to your legs if you like. Give it a nice massage. Sometimes we sit in our office chair for so long, or wherever it is, that we don't allow it to get enough circulation. So giving that massage is very helpful at the same time. So for anyone who's new to meditation, this is a very short way for us to check in with ourselves. You can start the meditation anywhere you like, but preferably maybe somewhere that you feel it's easier for you to feel grounded. I like to start early morning, before I start my day, or in the evening before I go to bed, just 5 or 10 minutes. That way it helps you to really come back, take a few moments to reflect on whatever it is, to see where your mind is, where your body is. So thank you everyone for joining me on this guided meditation. If there's any question, you can ask later. And maybe now I can begin my sharing. But first of all, I want to take this moment to thank Kirsten for reaching out to me and inviting me to join this evening session with the Bardo Cafe Book Club. At first I was very hesitant because, as I have shared with Kirsten, that I'm not a fan of virtual sharing. I'm more of a person who likes to share in person because I like to make contact, to see who's with me, the energy of the people in front of me. But with Zoom, this is very new to me. So I am practicing to get out of my comfort zone. So please do forgive me if my sharing tonight might not be as, open as I wish I could. So just to let you know. And also I want to extend my gratitude to Marlene, because I had met her and her wonderful son, Pawa Rapa, a few years ago in India. And we had a chance to go on a short pilgrimage to Rajgir and Varanasi. And from that encounter, that's how I came to know Kirsten, and that's why I am here tonight with all of you. So just to recognize the causes and conditions of how things interweave, how we come to be. And I'm very grateful right now in this moment for all of you to really take this time to join the program, even though we have never met before. And as nervous I am right now, I'm also just very happy to be able to share with all of you. And I hope that the guided meditation, the singing was helpful for you. So now I'd like to begin with my sharing. I have been asked by Kirsten and Marlene to share about the practice of beginning anew. But before we do that, I want to share a little bit on how I first met my teacher, the late Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. So for many of you who may not be familiar, in our community, all of his students refer to him or address him as Thai, which is Vietnamese for teacher or guru. And so anytime I mention the word Thai, it means I'm speaking of my teacher. So like Kirsten shared in the introduction, I had a chance to meet Thai for the first time in 2007, which was 1 year after I had been ordained as a nun. And this happened in Vietnam when Thai and his delegation was traveling in Vietnam for the second time after he had been in exile from Vietnam for 39 years. So you can imagine this trip was very important to Thai. And I'm sure it was also very impactful for those who were able to join him or to see him. And at that time, I had no idea who he was, never heard of him before, but because there was a hype, everybody was talking about him. Oh, there's a very famous Zen master in Vietnam right now. You should go see him. You should go listen to his talk. So out of curiosity, I went with my mom to Vinh Nghiem temple where he was giving a Dharma talk at that time. And I came with all these ideas about him because being this famous Zen master, I imagine him to, stand out in a way that many venerable Vietnamese monks, they usually wear, their Sangari. It's a ceremonial robe that really stands out. Sometimes they're very fancy. But when I came, I was taken back to see how simple he was. He was dressed in the brown robe, just like I'm wearing right now. And the moment he walked up to the podium to give the talk was what really caught my attention. Seeing him walking so humbly and peacefully just really took my attention right away because he kind of had this aura of peace and simplicity, and the moment he just spoke very lightly and walking peacefully, I knew right then that this was the teacher I had been looking for, just simply from his way of walking. He didn't speak much yet, but at that moment right away, I knew I had a strong connection to Thai. And another surprise, he started talking about India. He started talking about the book he wrote, Old Path, White Cloud, which is, nonfiction, but based on the life of the Buddha. And again, I had just come from India, so the moment he spoke about India and Old Path White Cloud, the life of the Buddha, everything, the pieces of the puzzle just came together for me. It resonated so much. But again, I was surprised again to see how beautiful his Sangha, his community was, because at that time, Thai had traveled with a delegation of, I think, more than 100, and majority of them were Western disciples coming from more than, I think, 10 or 20 nationalities. And I was like, wow, this Zen master, I don't know what he does, but for him to be able to share the Buddhist teaching in a way that Westerners can easily take in and practice and follow him was something that brought a lot of curiosity in me. Like, how did he do it? Because growing up, I was never able to understand the Buddhist teaching in English that I felt connected to. So when I saw the Sangha, how beautiful they were in different nationality, cultures coming together, traveling together, it was so beautiful for me to see that. But what made it more special was after the Dharma talk had come to an end, and you see thousands of people, getting dispersed. But all of a sudden, when the temple bell was invited, you see Thai Sangha, they just stop right away with the sound of the bell. And right away in that moment, even those like myself who never have been introduced to the practice of listening to the bell, stopping, we were also kind of been affected by that presence of the Sangha. They're stopping at that moment, stopping talking, stopping their walking, stopping whatever they're doing. It just helped the whole atmosphere of the temple. All of a sudden, it became so peaceful in the most natural way. And that right there really hit home for me. Like, this practice was so simple yet profound that it can help anyone, even someone who has never come in touch with the practice of mindfulness, can already feel and sense that energy. So seeing Thai and his Sangha, traveling, walking together, sharing the teaching, not just by words, but by their way of being, was the most powerful thing that really stood with me. And I remember going back home and I started Googling Thich Nhat Hanh, and it came up with so many things about him that I was like, whoa, excuse me for my language. This guy is not simple as I thought he was. I read a lot of news articles and a lot of his biography, and I realized, wow, Thai, he's not just a simple monk. He's also a scholar, who's received scholarship to study in Princeton. He's also taught in other university. He also, founded one of the first Buddhist university in Vietnam. But what really stood out for me was him meeting, Martin Luther King to speak out against the Vietnam War and calling for peace. So he was also a peace activist. So there's so much to Thai that I was like, inspired by his work, his life, but I didn't know if I would have a chance to meet him again, And again, from that moment, I think my blessing began to take fruit, because after I returned to the US, I met Thai again, but in person. I had a chance to meet him in his hut at Deer Park Monastery, which is in Escondido, California. And I had a chance to see him directly and ask him a very close question to my heart. What does it take to become a monastic? And the answer he gave me was so simple, because I was expecting him to give me all these, difficult requirements. But all he said was, all you need is a strong bodhicitta, a strong willingness to practice, and the ability to live in harmony with the community. That's all. And I said, but Thai, I graduated and I earned a bachelor in business. It has nothing to do with anything. I don't think it's helpful in any way for me as a nun. And he said, yeah, it doesn't matter if you have any degrees, because none of those things are the most important thing for you to become a nun. Even if you graduated and you became a doctor or whatnot, but if you're not able to practice, you're not able to transform your suffering, you're not able to touch the real peace and happiness, then what's the point of having all these higher degrees? And he said, in fact, when you become a nun, a monk, you need to let go of all those material things. So the intention is really what is important. And I think this question is not only for me, but for all of us. No matter what backgrounds we have, no matter what situation we're in, if we have the intention to practice, this will be like the guide for us, the support for us to go on that path where we know we will get supported from the Sangha. Just like the Bardo Cafe right now, we can consider this group as a family, as a spiritual family, even if we may come from different beliefs or faith, but the practice and the intention of opening ourselves, the intentioning of uncovering what it is in our life that will help us to transform, then this will help us to stay more grounded. And that's when I realized that Thai's teaching really inspired me a lot. And from that first direct encounter with Thai, I was blessed to follow in his footsteps for the next 10 years, starting at our monastery in Plum Village, France. So I really appreciate Thai for really giving me that first pointer to see that, you know, as a monk, as a nun, our bodhicitta, our willingness to practice is very important. It's the foundation of whatever we want to gear in our spiritual journey. Yeah. So speaking of which, I want to now share about the Beginning Anew practice. Just like the name itself, Beginning Anew, this already set the path for us to see that we all have the opportunity to begin anew, starting with ourselves. And this practice normally is presented in 4 steps to help us restore communication, to strengthen our relationship, to help reconcile any conflicts or difficulties with our loved ones, with our friends, our community. And also it helps to heal and transform any suffering that we may have. And this practice works wonder if we really put our heart and mind into it. And it's not something for us to just practice once or to practice when we start to have a lot of problems. But for me, I think it's important that we take into this practice as an ongoing process in our life. So the first part, the first step of beginning a new practice is watering the flower. Or in other words, it's a way for us to say thank you, to appreciate the good qualities, the positiveness in us and in the other. So you can imagine a flower, you know, flowers need to be watered in a way that it can bloom fully and freshly. So just like the flower, we also need to be watered. And what does it mean to be watered? We need to be appreciated. We need to be thanked. We need to be recognized, the good seeds that we have, the good qualities that we have. And Thai often share that each one of us is a flower in the garden of humanity. All of us, no matter who we are, no matter what age we are beautiful flowers, ready to bloom, ready to offer the best to this world. But it's a matter of recognizing what good seeds that we have, what qualities or good habits that we have. And so we need to water them. But from my own experience, sometimes if you water too much, what happens? the flower also wilts. And if we don't water enough, the flower also wilts, right? So if we practice mindfulness and we become observant, then we will know when is the best time to water the flower. I know that for many of us, we think saying thank you is a little bit too much, especially within our family. And speaking for myself, coming from a Vietnamese family, Asian culture, we're not familiar with expressing thank you to each other. We're more trained to just appreciate through our actions rather than words. But I've realized that no matter what, we all appreciate it when we hear someone thanking us, right? So it is a practice for me, coming from my family, to say thank you, Mom, for cooking for me, or thank you, Dad, for taking me to school. They may not appreciate right away, but when we continue to really recognize all the good things that our loved ones are doing for us, then they naturally will feel loved. They naturally will feel that they are being taken care of and that they're being appreciative. So this first step of watering the flower is very important. Whether we are doing it with our husband or wife, with our son or daughter, with our colleagues, it doesn't matter, but it's important to really take that moment to water the flower. And I remember 1 year after staying in Plum Village, Thai, he was very consistent in encouraging me to write to my parents. He's very keen on us getting in touch with our ancestral roots. And he always reminds us that our closest ancestors is actually our parents. And Thai would tell me, you know, if your parents are still alive, please cherish them. Please tell them how much you love them. Don't wait until something happens to them, or don't make excuses that they're too far away, that you don't need to appreciate them. So he's always encouraging me to do this. And I remember I was not sure how to write to my parents, but because my parents were immigrants, they didn't have a chance to learn English. And I knew that if I were to write in English, they would not really receive in a way that I want to express. So I took it to my own to learn Vietnamese. Thanks to living with the community, I was able to help translate Thai's talks and other activities in our monastery, and that helped a lot with my Vietnamese skills. And so I took it upon myself to finally sit down and write a letter to my parents for the first time in my life. And not only that, but I wrote it in Vietnamese, in my broken Vietnamese at that time, to let my parents know how much I love, how much I appreciate them for giving me this opportunity to pursue my spiritual path as a nun, you know, for supporting me throughout, no matter what I did in life. And to express all these things in writing was such a healing process for me at that same time, because it gave me that time to reflect my relationship with my parents, And I remember I was told from my family that when my parents received the letter, they were just, moved in tears. And my mom was so happy that she made like copies and copies of the letter and started giving out to other families or her friends too. I guess she felt proud of me. And I knew, at first I felt embarrassed, because I thought to myself, this letter was intimate. It was just for me and my parents. But now my mom is like sharing to the whole world. But at the end of the day, I knew that my mom was happy to see that I made the effort to write to them in her language and to really share everything I wanted to share that I never had a chance to because it was not normal in our family to do so. But writing helped a lot. So when we water the flower in someone, there's so many ways we can do it, you know. We can share it openly with the person who is sitting in front of us or with a group of friends. Or we, in this modern time, we also can write an email or send a text message. But before we do any of these things, it's very important to pause and reflect on it so that when we water the flower, when we say thank you, when we appreciate someone, we're really saying it from our heart, from a sense of sincerity, from a space of peace and happiness, then only then will that person receive that energy that we want to give out. So this first step, I think it's easy. It's not too difficult. I'm sure all of us have someone that we can be thankful. So I'd like to invite a sound of the bell. And let's take this moment. For all of us, we can gently again close our eyes if we liked. And as we listen to the sound of the bell, I want to invite you to think of one person right away that comes to mind that you're very grateful, you're thankful, you appreciate him or her for who they are, no matter what they are. And just simply saying thank you to them in your own mind, or you can say thank you silently, however you feel. But let's do this together so that we can cultivate that seed of gratitude in us, okay? So let's invite someone who comes to mind, whether it's our teacher, our mother, father, sibling, wife, husband, colleagues, niece, nephew, a neighbor, even someone who has passed away. We can still offer that energy of gratitude towards them. We can smile to them and we can say, thank you. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for everything you have done. Thank you for believing in me. And thank you for sharing with me, even in the most difficult time. Yes, and thank you, Thai, for also being with us tonight. So, dear friends, I hope that was helpful for you. to really take a moment, and I hope that after this session, if there's really someone that you want to write to, or to send a text message, to give a call, just to simply say thank you, to reaffirm how much you really love and appreciate them, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know if we will be around to say these things. So we need to take this opportunity in any way we can to say thank you, and I appreciate it. And the second step of beginning anew is expressing regrets, or in other words, to say I'm sorry. This second step might be difficult for some of us, especially if we're not ready to put our pride on the side, especially if we have the tendency to think that we are right and the other person is wrong. Yes, it's very difficult if we have that mentality. It's normal to have conflicts. It's normal to have misunderstanding, miscommunication that leads to a very difficult relationship. As much as deep down we love that person, but for some reason we just can't stand them anymore. Just the sense of seeing them there makes us boiled up, angry, especially irritated. A few years ago I received a text message from an optometrist. And I was surprised when I'm not gonna say her name, but she sent me a message sharing about her marriage. And she said, "Sister, I can't stand my husband anymore. I don't think we're gonna get through this, and I'm considering divorce because every day I have to see him, and every day I want to run away from him. I can't stand him. It's just." And they work together. She's an optometrist, but he helps to make the glass frames. So they do see each other. And she just, she's like, "I don't know what to do, sister, but I really feel like I'm on thin air right now. I don't think I can make through this marriage. But I know that it's affecting my daughters because they feel the strong tension between us. And one of her daughters have been crying, I think because she's worried that they will come to a divorce, but her daughter's not able to share because I think her daughter was afraid to take side between the mother and father and things like that. And so I knew that this was not an easy case, and I had to call and really talk to her and try to listen to her, share her side of the story to understand more, because I'm sure there's always more to the story, right? So I gave her a call and I said, "So please tell me what happened. Let me know what you think was really the cause of the problem to get to where it is right now, because I'm sure something must have happened along the way, but both of you weren't able to address it properly. You weren't able to use a language, loving speech, where both can be able to speak and listen to each other. And I'm sure there's some kind of judgment and blaming. And as the day and time comes, it really bottles up in each one of you. So I'm sure there's more to the story than what I'm hearing. So I just practiced listening and I allowed her to share her story. But from my understanding after hearing what she shared, I realized the problem was in miscommunication and also wrong judgment or wrong perception. So it turned out that something simple became very complicated. She said one thing, he understood another, and he felt that her energy and her words was really looking down on him. And then when he tried to talk to her, he also felt that she wasn't listening to him. So day by day, they could not talk to each other anymore, and they play the silent game. I'm sure some of us have experienced this, right? And the silent games becomes very, very dangerous. Why? Because you might think that by not saying anything is best, but I shared with her, it's not about being silent. It's the energy that you bring upon when you're in his presence. You may not say anything, but in your mind, you're already having all these negative thoughts, perception about him. And over time, it turns into resentment, into anger. And so anytime our body, our mind is filled with this negative energy, he will feel it. And I'm sorry, not just your husband, but your daughters feel it. And so if we don't know how to channel our energy and we don't have the time to reflect, to see the root cause of the situation, it's so easy for us to start writing more stories to what it actually is. And that's what happened between these two. The wife started writing stories of her husband, and the husband started writing stories of his wife. And they had their own way of judging what is right or wrong. And what's more difficult is, like I said, he thinks he's right and she's wrong. And on the other hand, she also thinks she's absolutely right and he's absolutely wrong. So no one is willing to give in. And it become a game of blaming and resentment and complete silence. And if we don't know how to take care of it soon, it becomes a silent bomb, like it just needs another condition that the wife or husband can just, blow up with a strong emotion and will say things that become so hurtful that it damages the relationship right away, and it will have an impact, not just in the short term, but long term. So I shared with my optometrist friend, I said, based on what I've heard, I realized that you have your right, but he also has his right. And you also have your wrong, and he also have his wrong. So now the question is, do you still love your husband? Yes, she answered. Are you willing to make an effort to try to resolve it? She said, yes, if he's willing. And I asked her again, do you love your children? Yes. So almost everything she answered yes. I said, then now the best thing is to put your pride on the side. Put right and wrong on the side. Put blame on the side. Now the only thing you put in front of the situation is your family, and that's when I started to share with her the practice of beginning anew. I said, if you want to make this work, you have to be the brave one to make that extra step. Otherwise, if you're going to wait for him to reconcile, if you're going to wait for him to say, I'm sorry, if you're going to wait for him to make things right, maybe that day will never come. And maybe you just see him again in the lawyer's office to sign off for, a divorce. So I always remind her that if you really still love your husband, your children, you still love this family that you committed yourself to from the beginning, then we need to start this first step, which is to acknowledge that I do have mistakes. I do have my part in this conflict, in this silence of, anger or resentment. And I said, do you acknowledge that? And she said, yeah, now that you mention it, I do see myself having my wrong in it, because before she was so strong about she was so firm about thinking that this whole problem was him, not her. But after, opening the space and letting her see the bigger picture, she was able to see that due to her, strong reaction, and also because in the office, she's more like the boss, and he's more like, her worker as well. And I say, I think that's the problem. Sometimes you forget that you put your role as the boss higher or as a priority more than your role as a wife and as a companion. And I think that's where she lost her balance. And I said, is that true? And she said, yes, because I see him in the office, but I always demand him to do this. I always demand him to do that. And I always, feel like I'm inferior to him. And I said, that's the thing. Men don't like to feel inferior. So I said, so see, I'm glad you can recognize that. And by taking that step to recognize that, I think you will have a chance to work this out. Sometimes it's very simple, but because we make things more complicated, we don't take the effort to try to communicate. We don't take the effort to take one step back and try to listen, so that's how it is. And so, I guided her, like, please, just do one thing for me tomorrow. Tomorrow, when you go to work with him, pay attention to the energy that you're giving out. Pay attention to what is going on in your mind. If at that moment you start feeling boiling again, anger, please take a breath, breathing in, breathing out. I recognize I'm angry, or I recognize I'm being irritated. So the first step I guided her was recognizing whatever energy she's giving out and calming that energy. Okay. Second, then I bring her back to our first step, which is watering the flower. I told her, maybe you've been married to him for a long time and you forget to appreciate your husband, the small things that he does at home. Sometimes both of you come back from work, he helps with the dishes, he helps cleaning the house, or he helps the kids with the homework, but we don't appreciate them. And we think that, oh, I make more money, or I bring back the cash more, and that we forget the other things are just as important. So I think that's where sometimes it triggers these problems, that we don't really take the time to appreciate the things that our spouse does for us and for the family. So I share with my friend, please reflect and see what things your husband have been doing. Let's not talk about 10 or 20 years ago. Let's just concentrate something that is very close, like 1 or 2 weeks ago, or maybe within a month. Look at things that your husband have done for you, for your children, and reaffirm that. tell him thank you, appreciate him concretely, with a situation that you really observe. And she did that. So she started doing this. And I also showed her another trick. I said, think back of things that your husband really like. And you do it in a way that it shows your intention. So maybe change your bed sheet, maybe wash his favorite sport equipment, or watch a video or a sitcom that he really likes, to show that you're taking time to do things that he like, to do things that he feels happy. That is the intention of also watering the flower. Then he feels like you're being appreciative. And that's what she did. So sometimes we feel like we've been married for so long, or we've been father and son or mother and daughter so long, we think we know everything about that person, but really we don't. Sometimes they have new things for us to discover, and they have done new things that we don't see. So with mindfulness, we learn to be more observant about our family or work situation, learning to appreciate them, even with the most mundane, the smallest things. That really helps strengthen the relationship. And back to step number 2, expressing regret. Like I said, this is the hard part. So I told her, you need to find the right time to say sorry. Don't say it when you guys are both upset. Don't say it when he's busy doing something. You need to find a time where both of you can easily look into each other's eyes, or easily have presence for each other. Then that way, when you do apologize or express your regrets, he will receive it more easily. And that's what she did. She said, guess what, sister? I can't believe it. Before he would want me to walk to his mom's house, but I never wanted to. But now, listening to your advice, I decided to surprise him. I say, hey, let's go for a walk. And we walked to his mother's house. And they started holding hands, which they haven't done in a long time. And she's just started looking him in the eyes and really expressing her regrets, saying, I'm sorry. I think a month ago, I said things out of line that I shouldn't have. And sometimes I say things that may seem very disrespectful because of the tone of my voice that maybe you felt was very disrespectful. So I want to, really say sorry, and please give me another chance to be better. And I think that moment that she said sorry, she didn't have to say much. And, she said, my husband's hand tightened our grip to express that he was touched just because I said sorry. I didn't have to explain much. And from that moment on, they were able to communicate more openly, especially if they recognize right away there's a problem, then they can share openly and ask the other person. Otherwise, if you leave the problem as it is and you don't speak about it, you don't address the problem, and you just become silent, it's not very healthy for the relationship, and it affects other people in our life too. And in this case, their children. And she was so happy that the next day it was like a air fresh, like they went to work, they came back home, everything returned to a normal family again. They can actually smile to each other. They can actually speak openly about it. And her husband, the funny thing was he asked her, like, so which therapist helped you with this? She said, it's not a therapist. She's just a nun that I've met. And she's one of my patients, actually. And from that moment, he also became interested in the practice. And he decided to visit one of our monastery. So as you can see that this practice is very crucial. If we ever feel that there is a conflict, please reflect on it, to see, behind the deep down in the surface, is it really the other person's complete fault? Or do we have a part of it due to our inability to be mindful, due to our inability to speak lovingly or to express our feeling, which leads to, miscommunication, misunderstanding. So if we're able to take that step back and see our own, weaknesses and to share that by saying, I'm sorry, this right away really helps to open that new door of being able to communicate again. Yeah. So let's all listen to a sound of the bell, just so that we can kind of absorb what's been shared before we continue on. So the third step of beginning anew is being able to express our hurt. This is also very important because sometimes it's easy for us to feel vulnerable and to express hurt. Maybe we might think it's a sign of weakness, but it's actually a strength, because if we're able to express our hurt to the person we love most, to someone we're living with, to someone we're working with, then they can understand where we're coming from. They can understand what is going on in our life. Especially we have so many things going on throughout the day that when we talk to each other, when we hang out together, we don't realize that what we say or what we do, even our body behavior, can lead to someone feeling hurt, right? So being able to express that hurt will help the other person understand better. So if you ever have a chance to begin anew with your loved one, it's always important to water the flower first, and then to, express your regrets. Then you can share your hurt. Don't share your hurt right away. If you share your hurt right away before doing the other two steps, it might lead to the other person feeling guilty, feeling bad. Then it's not gonna work like that. So remember that it's important we first water the flower first, so that they feel like, oh, okay, this person is coming from a space of generosity, being kind to me. And second, to allow that person to see that we also have our mistakes, yeah? And then the third part is letting the other person know what triggers that hurt in us. For example, you're used to eating dinner together on time, but lately your husband comes home very late, or sometimes he doesn't even eat the food that you cook. So that hurts you, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't realize that. See? So things like this, we need to share and say, my dear, I know you've been working hard. I know sometimes you have to work overtime. It's out of your control. But when you do have a regular work schedule and you come home and you don't take the time to enjoy the food that I have prepared for you, I feel very neglected, and that hurts. So that's how you approach, the situation. So you're still being able to express your hurt, but using loving speech without blaming the other person, without making that other person feel guilty. Yeah. So this is an important factor, is to use loving speech, using words that comes from a space of understanding, being open about it, not jumping to pointing your fingers and blaming the other person that you are the reason why I'm hurt. You are the reason why I'm suffering. You are the reason why I can't stand it anymore, So again, come back to that space to see the goodness of the other person, to see that you also have your side of vulnerability, but at the same time to express your weakness, to express what makes you hurt in a particular situation, in a particular circumstance. And if you can share that openly, it will help, again, the other person to understand you better. Yeah. And this leads to our last step, is to make a resolution to ask for support. Many times we suffer because we feel like we're alone. We feel that no one understands us. We feel that no one is able to open up to us. So the fourth step is taking that step to say, I need your help. I need the community's help. For instance, if we're going through a state of grief, someone in our life have just passed away, and we just feel so much anxiety, so much sadness. We don't feel like we want to do anything anymore. This is the moment we also let the community, our family, know that we need their support, and express it in ways that they understand how they can support you. For instance, you can say, it will be very helpful if you can check in on me once every day, or if you can send me a text and say, how are you? Or it will be very helpful that if you reach out to me and I don't reply right away, please be understanding that I'm in a state of grief and I need my space. So communicating in that way will bridge that understanding between yourself and the other person or the community, whatever situation you find yourself in. And going back to that hurt. So if we are a person who's very emotional, we get hurt easily just by, a strong reaction. Then we can ask the other person, next time, if whatever I say or I do that is not easy for you to accept, please, you don't need to respond right away. You don't need to react right away. Otherwise, it will also trigger that seed of anger in me, that seed of hurt in me. So you can suggest ways that you feel is comfortable for the other person to understand and help around to support you in that way. So I hope that is very clearly shared. Again, I'll just run through again the practice of beginning anew. We have 4 steps. First is watering the flower, appreciating, saying thank you, right? And 2, second step, expressing our regrets. Third, expressing our hurt, yeah. And 4th is being able to ask for support, ask for to resolve that conflict through concrete steps. So I'm gonna take this moment, and I want to ask if there's anyone in our circle right now who would like to practice beginning anew. And you can either practice with someone that you know who's on the Zoom right now, or you can practice with a family member that is somewhere else, but this is a good chance for you to do so. And you don't have to do all 4 steps. You can do just 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps, or 4 steps. But by doing so, this will be a great opportunity for you to do it while you have the support of all of us being here with you. Yeah, so maybe Kirsten, you can check to see if any one of our friends would like to take this opportunity to practice beginning anew.
Sister Blue Lotus, for coming and for being here and for all of your teaching. It's been just very, very enlightening, and I can sense the wisdom that is coming through you, from Tay, and the way you convey the teaching is, it's very special. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for coming.